Just like Napoleon, who was underestimated because of his stature, but yet had many defeats and conquered many nations. Today, I'm going to show you how to conquer exotic components in the DZ. This is the ultimate guide to exotic component farming. All the information and knowledge that I have learned and to some degree have not shared with all. Happy exotic component farming. Let's begin. Whether you're a new Division 2 player or a veteran, there are things in this video that you will learn today because some of the things have never been shared on YouTube as far as I know. I've watched many videos from different content creators about the best methods for farming exotic components. And although they're not wrong, and many YouTubers are correct, right? The best methods for farming components right now include going into the dark zone and farming boxes. That is true. However, there are certain things that I know and nuances to this method that you should also know. This is for highly efficient farming people. So basically, the people who want to get serious about getting exotic components and farming them to the degree that allows you to max out your components on multiple characters if you want to devote the time and energy to do it. But let me warn you, it requires high concentration and you could forget about everything else if you want to be successful. What do I mean by that? Is I'm going to teach you how to efficiently farm components using certain tricks and methods that will help you get to max numbers much faster than you normally would if you weren't using these methods. And although some people may know of some of these methods and tricks, I'm going to also explain to you some of the nuances that I've learned that I have not shared, nor have I seen other YouTubers share. And whether you know these things or you don't, I can guarantee you one thing. You will learn something today about exotic component farming in the Division 2. So let's begin with some ground rules. The first rule to exotic component farming is you must farm exotic components and do nothing else. That's number one. So while I'm teaching you how to do it today and what to do, be advised, do not invite people into your group that are going to distract you from achieving these goals. There are many people who will go into the DZ with the intention of farming components, but then end up fighting groups of players and getting distracted by that. If you're one of those players, remove yourself from that environment. If you want to be serious about maximizing your gear and your expertise, like I have, by getting the maximum number of components, you have to get serious about farming them, not be distracted by bullshit going on in the DZ. So, for that reason, when you are applying my method today, always remember the people you want to run with to do this, or whether you do this solo, let them know, hey, I'm trying to get components and components only for the next weeks or whatever it is that you want to do. So let's talk about what you need to do to get components and the different methods. It's no secret that in the Dark Zone, when you open up the black chests, and the black chests are the ones that have the SHD symbols on them. Those are the only ones that will give you components. From those black chests, you have what I've calculated to be about a 25% chance every time you open the chest to get a component. The yellow chests, or the chests that are painted yellow, do not give exotic components, so do not waste your time opening these chests. The second thing that you should know about running in the DZ and opening chests is that all the chests in the DZ follow a 30-minute timer, and each chest has its own 30-minute timer. So for example, if you open a chest in the DZ, as soon as the loot hits the floor, the clock starts. In exactly 30 minutes from the time that you open the first chest, that chest will come back in 30 minutes. And subsequently, the next chest that you open after you open the first will come back exactly in 30 minutes from the time you opened it. So what I have done is I have calculated that if you start in 1DZ, and regardless of which way you choose to run, because different people have different ways to run. But for example, if I start in Dark Zone East and I open a chest at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that chest will come back at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have calculated with my running method that I'm going to share with you today. It takes me 25 minutes to run all 3 dark zones and open all black chests. Only the black ones. Once I complete the run in 25 minutes, I will return to the original chest that I opened, which was the first one, and wait 5 minutes for it to come up. Because I have opened the chest, I am the one that knows what time it comes back. And because I have run in a specific direction from chest to chest, if I have opened all the chests in all the dark zones, those chests will come back exactly in the time that I opened them in the prior run. So, going from chest to chest, if there are any delays, for example, if you open one chest, and while you're running to the next chest, you stop and start shooting NPCs or a player or anything else, what you have done is added a delay between the time you open the first chest and the second chest. That is not something you should be doing. When you're running components, you must stick to a schedule that you have created and do not deviate from that schedule. What your goal is to start doing a run and do it exactly the same way that you did it before. Which means if prior to the first run you opened a chest, but in the second run you ran out of keys and you stole a chest, you have to compensate for the fact that stealing a chest adds a few more seconds to that chest. So now the next time you come around for your, let's say, third or fourth run, you have to know that that chest will open in a few seconds if you're standing there exactly around the same time that you opened it in the prior one, except that you have to add a few seconds because you stole it instead of opening it. These are the considerations that you must take account for when you're opening chests. Now, most people will go into the DZ in their natural region and open a chest. But here is trick number 1. Let's say, in this example, the chest is not open. I'm in DZ East, New York servers or East servers. Here's the first trick that some veteran agents use. What they do is they will click to log out of the DZ. And when your logout timer is approaching 4 to 3 seconds, you flag rogue. You start flagging rogue. Your goal is to be rogue when you log off the game. When you log back into the game, it will put you in your own DZ instance. And even though you're still in the same DZ East or West or South, you are now in your own DZ instance. Now, be advised that sometimes a lot of people do this because they may know about it. Some people do know about it. But being in your own DZ instance allows you to potentially have all the chests open because maybe no one else is doing this at the time that you're doing it. And that will give you an opportunity to go and run all the chests in that dark zone and move to the next dark zone. So this is one trick to use where if you go to the DZ and you see that all the chests are gone, try logging out and flagging rogue and logging back in to see if you can get into a DZ instance where no one has opened the chest yet. This is not new information, but this is the first tactic or method you should consider using to help you farm chess. The second tactic or method players use is to create a level 30 character. So in this example, I'm on my level 30 character. Level 30 servers are less populated and therefore will give you better opportunities where the chests will be up so that you can run them. Just be advised that level 30 means that your character may not have upgraded gear and there is no decoy skill. So most often you may have landmarks where NPCs will be shooting you while you're trying to take or steal a chest. So even though you're a little bit more squishy as a player, that really doesn't matter. You can always find methods like, for example, putting down assault turret as a method of decoy. But for the most part, having one level 30 character to farm exotic components, and then after reaching a certain amount, let's say 600 components, consider that you can go to the White House and click to share your materials. So level 30 is the second great method to farming components. Now I'm going to get serious and talk about how to create a schedule using my third method. This is a method where if you are serious, you can do this very easily. I'm not going to show you how to do this in terms of your own computer, PC, and PlayStation setup. There are many videos on YouTube that will explain to you how to do this. The specific method that I use to farm components involves using a VPN, virtual private network. I have a VPN on my computer, PC, and this allows me to connect an Ethernet cable from my PlayStation to the computer and activate the VPN connection. When activating the VPN connection, what I'm essentially doing is on my computer, PC, I'm changing the location of where I am. So, for example, if it's 3 p.m. and I'm in New York, Eastern Standard Time, and I know that a lot of people may be in the DZ, it's a Friday night or Saturday, and I know that it's highly unlikely for me to be able to get consistent boxes, I will go to my computer, turn on VPN, and choose a world location that I think people may be sleeping or not playing Division, essentially. So I've used typical locations such as Brazil, Australia, Asian servers, European servers. I will change the region on my PC using VPN to, let's say, London. And because I'm sharing the connection from my PC to the PlayStation picks up the VPN. And when I log into the division, this allows me to transfer to another DZ or region server that shows, for example, Asia, Australia, Brazil, Europe. And this will put me into different region servers of the division where people are sleeping and unlikely to be farming components. And this allows me to continuously farm components for anywhere to 5, 6, 7 hours, opening all the boxes and all the DZs. Now, occasionally there will be players here and there, obviously, but what matters is the direction that I run, how I open the boxes, creates a schedule. Remember when I said that each box has its own 30-minute timer? Well, I'm going to show you how I run the DZ boxes. And this is an example which I'm going to speed up. So this was 1 hour of me running continuous boxes in the DZ, okay? 1 hour. But the hour is broken up into two different segments. Because I know with my specific running technique, it takes me 25 minutes to run all three dark zones and grab all the boxes. And I'm running the same way from each box to each box, not deviating for any reason. The boxes always come up exactly when I'm at the box. What this really means, if you break it down, because I am the one who opened all the boxes in all three DZs, the box that I'm standing at is the only box that will become available exactly at the moment that I'm standing because I have taken it in the prior run exactly at the time that I've taken it. So effectively, I can shut down an entire server of all three DZs by starting with one box, running all three DZs 25 minutes. And because the first box that I took will come back exactly 30 minutes, and all the other boxes will come back subsequently to that, exactly at the time that I ran prior to that, all I have to do is just continuously run every 25 minutes, wait for 5 minutes at the first box, and do it all over again for 5 to 6 hours. Using this method, I have achieved 100 components in about 6 hours of farming. Yes, this is pretty boring, and most often I'll be listening to music or something while I'm doing this. But where else are you going to get approximately 100 components in about 6 hours doing any other method? So you could see for me, if I do this for several days or weeks, it's very easy to get to 999 components just by running from box to box. What your goal is you want to create a schedule. You open the first box and you run all the DZs and you notate what time you open the first box, wherever your starting point is. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to speed up my 1 hour run. So this is the first 30-minute run. And I can tell you from my experience doing this solo and with two people, here are the things that you should know about doing this. Number one, the developers do not know that there is a bug or glitch in the game, and none of the players know that there is a bug and glitch in the game. What is the bug or glitch? When you're doing this continuously for hours, if you leave a grenade, a medkit, a DZ key, or sometimes even loot in front of the box, the next time you come around to open the box in the same server, it will not show up that the box is available for you to open, even though it is. So this is a bug that I have discovered in the dark zone. So when you're running this method in one server continuously for multiple hours, what you have to do is ensure that one, when you're opening boxes, you do not leave a grenade, a medkit, a DZ key, or loot in front of the box. And essentially, if you have 7 grenades in your pocket, and what I mean by grenades is the frag grenades, you have to keep throwing the frag grenades out of your pocket every time you reach max, so that way you don't leave a grenade in front of the box. The same thing for medkits. You cannot have full medkits and leave a medkit in front of the box, because the next time you come around, there is almost a guarantee that even though that box is up, there is a bug in the game that blocks the icon for you to open the box, because that medkit was there and standing in front of it. So in this run, you're gonna see me use medkits. You're gonna see me throw grenades, and normally I make sure that I'm not always full on keys, because you don't want to leave a key, especially if you're doing this solo. This is a bug that not many people know, because not many people have farmed exotics for 5 to 6 hours straight. So therefore, keep this rule in mind. As soon as I walk into the DZ, I'm throwing my frag grenades and I'm using at least 1 or 2 medkits to get rid of my full medkits. Sometimes NPCs will shoot me and I will use instant medkits so that I know I'm not full on medkits. Especially in the occupied dark zone, any loot that drops, I am instantly deconstructing so that I do not leave loot in front of the box. You must follow these rules in order to effectively farm the boxes. If you're running this with a friend or multiple players, one of you could not have left a dark zone key, medkit, or grenade in front of the box, because multiple players, let's say for example, I leave a grenade. The next time we come around on the same schedule, I will not be able to see that that box is available to open. But as long as one of my friends did not leave a grenade, a key, or a med kit or loot, they will be able to still open the box. It's only when you're really doing this solo that you must consider that you're the only one that can leave these items in front of a box. So, believe it or not, this is a bug that I found by doing this tactic. Now, additionally, while running this route, and this is my specific route, I will stop to open the little green boxes sometimes, because the little green boxes give you dark zone keys. So as I'm running around the DZ, I'm not only stealing some boxes, but also trying to grab keys to essentially hold on to some keys. Now, inevitably, if you're doing this solo, you will eventually run out of keys, so you'll be forced to open boxes. My best suggestion is to run this with one other friend. You don't want to have four people in a group because you're always going to be inevitably slowing down because there's always that one player that gets a piece of loot or an exotic or something to drop and they want to extract it or they're wasting time. To be efficient, I recommend doing this with one other friend and that's it. No one else. Maybe three if you can find people who are efficient and also that have PS5 for the loading time. So as you can see, I've already completed DZ East was my starting point. I've just completed all the boxes in DZ West, and now I'm heading to DZ South. So this is my specific route. It doesn't mean that you have to follow it, but like I said, I've already calculated it takes you 25 minutes to run all three DZs, so you have a 5-minute break to come back to the first box that you opened. So in this case, you can see I was shooting a fire canister. Why am I shooting the fire canister? The reason is because I want to use up some of my medkits. And I'm tossing my frag grenades because I don't want to be full on medkits or frag grenades when I open the boxes. So as you continuously run, you must use up any frag grenades, medkits, and keys if necessary because you don't want to be stuck leaving something in front of the box. In this case, there was a player running around and farming the landmark, and again, this is Asian servers. I don't really care about the player. I am just simply creating a schedule by opening the boxes and running from one box to the next. And naturally, if I stick to this schedule and I do not deviate, the exact time between box to box will be identical every time that I make this run. So a few more things that you should consider when doing this run, especially if you're going to do it solo or with a friend. Here are some of the tricks or rules that I follow. Number one is I have 100% pulse resistance build just to run the boxes. I don't want to be pulsed by any player. If anything, I don't want to even be seen. So my goal is sometimes if you're in a non-occupied DZ, if there are players farming a landmark, you have to understand that those players do not know that that box is about to come up. And you'll be surprised how often people are standing at a landmark where the box is going to come up because it's on my schedule, but they don't know. So I have to jump in there, steal the box or take the box while they're clearing the landmark so that I can continue my schedule because I know that none of the other boxes in any of the dark zones are up. It's only the box that I'm standing at is up. So in this case, DZ South, this is the last box and I've completed my run. And I can tell you that generally speaking, every 30 minutes on average, you will receive anywhere from 5 to 7, perhaps 8 components every 30 minutes. Now, some runs will be only, let's say, 3 components where you did a 30-minute run, you ran all the DZs, and you only received 3 components. What I call this is the low range. So you're at the low range of your component run. What you should do is make sure you do another 30-minute run and you will be at the high end of your range. And by range, I mean there is an average percentage that I've calculated. And per hour, if you're able to get all the boxes per hour, you will be averaging anywhere from 12 to 16 components, sometimes even 18 per hour. And if you calculate that over the course of 5 to 6 hours, you will be near 100 components, sometimes give or take 5. So plus or minus 5 or 6 here and there. And it doesn't really matter who opens the boxes if you're with a friend. When you're doing this with a friend, the same percentages apply. So sometimes your friend may get a couple more than you in a particular run. But when you do this over the course of 5 to 6 hours, what I have discovered is it really doesn't matter because both of you will be within at least 3 to 4, sometimes maybe 5 exotic components of each other. So if I got 95 and my friend got 98 or 99, you're still within that range. It doesn't matter which one of us was opening the boxes. What matters is which one of us has the keys, and also we don't want to be full on keys. So if my friend has 19 keys, he should be opening the boxes to get down to perhaps 12 keys so that we can continuously be swapping as we get more keys. Now, having said that, this is an example of me completing the first run, and now I have a 5 minute break where I'm standing and waiting for the box to come up because I already notated that. For example, let's say I did my first run as you saw and I started at 9 p.m. I know that this first box I took it at 9 p.m., which means it's going to come back exactly around 9:30 p.m. in this example. So I'm waiting there, already threw my grenades out, already used the med kit. I'm waiting to open the box exactly when it comes back up at 9:30 p.m. Why? Because if I do that, 30 minutes from 9:30 will become 10. So this will be my second run where I have 25 minutes. And because I am the one who opened the boxes again in the prior run, they will come up exactly in the order that I opened them in the previous run, which is exactly the way I'm going to run in this order. However, there is one other thing that many players do not know, and I don't even think the developers know either. This is another bug in the game. Only on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, one of the DZs, most of the time DZ East, for whatever reason, the boxes do not follow the 30-minute rule. So on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, even though you open that box, let's say 9 p.m. on DZ East, and you fast travel and grab other boxes in the other DZs, for some weird, unexplained reason, on the weekends, the Dark Zone East does not follow the 30-minute schedule. It comes back early. Those boxes come back before 30 minutes and they don't follow the schedule. But this only occurs on the weekends. So most often I don't farm components on the weekends. I will farm them during weekdays, typically after work, during times where it may be 6 or 7 or 8 p.m. here in New York, but it's 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning in other regions. So when I use VPN, people are sleeping in other regions. And during the weekdays, all the DZs follow the 30-minute rule. If you open a box, it will come back in 30 minutes. But on the weekends, for some strange reason, this rule is broken for one of the DZs. And from my experience, it's always been DZ East, where those boxes come back early for some stupid reason. So because of that, there is a big potential because they come back early, other players may be able to steal them and take them. And this messes up your schedule, right? Because if you've created a schedule and you know when the boxes come up, another player can come early, take them, and you don't know what order they took them in. So only on the weekends is where the schedule is broken. But if you do this on weekdays, using my methods, the boxes will come back exactly the time that you took them as long as you are consistent with how you're running. With that said, there are no other things that you should know except that if you're going to be serious about this, you're going to have to create your schedules. If you want to get ultra serious, go on YouTube and look up how to set up a VPN and pass the connection from your PC to your PlayStation. It's a very simple process. VPNs out there do not cost a lot of money, especially like, for example, the one I use is ExpressVPN. It's like $100 for an entire year. Plus, I also use it on my PC and my phone. So I don't just use it for this. I use it for other things. But there are some free VPNs out there you may want to try. You can go on YouTube and search how to set this up and pass the connection to your PlayStation if you want to get serious about farming components. If you don't want to do that, use the other two methods. Create a level 30 character or go rogue and log out to create your own instance. What you really want is just to simply create your schedule and start running nonstop on that schedule. At this point, I have said what I needed to say. I've given you all the information that I have used to expertise my gear to 25 and still have many components. At this point, the game is going on 6 years. There is no reason why the community should not know these methods and tricks. And if anything, let it be known that this is the best method essentially that I can share with you. There is no other way for you to get exotic components at the rate of 100 in 6 hours or 50 in 3 hours approximately, as long as you're being efficient and consistent with it. There is no better way in the division. You can go farm whatever you want to farm, go to countdown, go to, you know, opening caches or descent or completing your weekly challenges or daily challenges. All that is a gimmick, because I have reached 999 components in a very short amount of time, while others are going to be farming for the next 6-7 months just to get their components up. With that said, this is Master Luke 5 out. I wish you guys the best of luck, and I hope you use my information to your benefit. Peace out.